Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been pretty excited about, and that is my Final Destination death tier list ranking. So I'm first going to go over the tiers that I have made and then I'll start sorting them out here. What movie they're from, I will explain their death and then put them in a tier. So the top tier here, we have Death's Highlight Reel. The second one is Gnarly AF, maybe not quite on the highlight reel, but pretty nasty. Then we have Participation Trophy. This is, we kept the story going, but that's about it. This is a bit ridiculous and anger inducing. I don't think of very many of these, but I needed to have it. So just a little heads up, if it is in the fourth film, I'm not gonna lie, I don't have high hopes for it because this kind of goes off of if it looks good, how much it sticks with me and how scared I am of it actually after watching this movie. We're gonna start with Eric from Final Destination Bloodlines, and he gets sucked into an MRI machine and then a wheelchair comes up behind him and crushes him. Highlight reel. That was nasty. Next, we have, this is Peter. Peter from, I think this is Final Destination 5. He's the one that goes a little crazy trying to kill someone to mess with Death's plan to get himself off of the list. His gun is on the burner, starts shooting, and then Sam comes up behind him and stabs him. This one's fine, but I mean, it's just like a stab. It's nothing crazy, but it does keep the plot going along, so I'm going to put him in Participation Trophy. Next, we have Charlie. So on a few of these, I did notice that they die together, so I'm going to try to find them as I can and put them up there. So Charlie and Stephanie die at the same time. This is in Final Destination Bloodlines. There's a train that gets derailed and they logs just fly off of it and just kill them. And I think I like this one because it has like that callback to the second one. I'm a sucker for this movie and its callbacks. So I am gonna put these in Gnarly AF just because I love those log trucks. Next we have, I actually don't know why I put Kimberly on here. She doesn't freaking die. So we're just gonna ignore her. We have Clear. Clear's in the second movie. She's a survivor from the first film. And she blows up in a hospital whenever Eugene's room blows up. So his room exploding, she's going to go check on him, and it causes her to blow up as well. I'm going to put this one on a bit ridiculous just because she's a legacy character and you're just going to knock her out like that. It's kind of, kind of crappy. And let me find Eugene really quick and get him on there too. Okay. I'm going to pull him up there into there. Okay. Next one is actually going to be Sam and Molly from Final Destination 5. Okay, so the thing of the fifth movie, the ending, is they are on Flight 180 headed to Paris, the one that starts like the whole franchise. So for that reason alone, it's a plane crash, so that's nasty. But also, just like the way that you think of Death constructing this whole thing, he just takes them out on a plane when they think they're safe. I would put on highlight reel, but because it's just a plane, no, I'm gonna put it in highlight reel. Sorry. Next we have, oh my god, this is Olivia from Final Destination 5 also. She goes to get LASIK eye surgery and the thing gets too hot and she tries to stop it with her hand and it goes through her hand and she gets up and she freaks out and falls out the window and her eye comes out and it gets run over. So that's nasty. I think that had they just killed her with the eye surgery itself, it would be higher, but because she falls out a window, I'm gonna put it on Gnarly AF. Next, we have Isaac from Final Destination 5. This one, he is like getting a massage and they acupuncture him and then he falls and like it pushes them all in. And then it's like one of the Rube Goldberg things where his phone is like vibrating off of a shelf and it makes the whole thing fall and catch on fire. And then a statue falls on his head. So I'm going to say gnarly AF because like needles and just like the whole contraption thing, I always love whenever they do the contraptions. It's so much better that way than just like those quick just get you out of there ones. This one, this is why this tier exists. This is Alex Browning. We learn about his death in Final Destination 2. He's a survivor of Final Destination 1. We find out that he got killed off screen by a falling brick. Yeah, this is actually the worst thing I've seen. Why? Like, you could have made him die in any interesting way, but no, we're taking him out with a brick. That's so stupid. Next, we have Todd from Final Destination 1. I think, okay, so this is the first death after the plane crash of Flight 180. Alex Browning is the one that has a premonition of the plane crash, and then Todd dies after, and this is where they start thinking that maybe death is coming back after them. He like slips in his shower and gets like clotheslined, and then he's can't breathe, and he's like slipping, and yeah, he dies like that. I think for this one, I'm gonna put it in highlight reel because like the way death make it look like he did it to himself is crazy. This is the first in the franchise, the first that people at this time were seeing something like this, and then to make it like have it staged as something else, that takes it up a notch for me. Next, we have Carter from Final Destination 1. He dies at the very end when they're in Paris. A sign like falls and kills him at the very end. It's kind of off screen too, and it just is to close out the movie. Like he saved Alex, I think, and then he dies. I'm gonna give this one participation trophy. I don't really love when stuff just falls on someone unless it's like done in a really creative way, but it wasn't. The sign just fell and killed him. It's gonna just keep moving Kimberly down here. I'm sorry. Okay, so I also put the premonitions as holes in here. The first one that I'm running into is the raceway premonition starting action scene from Final Destination 4, which is also called The Final Destination. Again, this is the worst one. I think the whole rest of the movie aside, the raceway start is not a good premonition thing. All the other ones are like pile-ups, plane crashes, and like roller coaster derailings. Those are like everyday fears and stuff, and I don't think going to a raceway is. The general population isn't doing that. And then also like the car catches on fire, flips off. Also, this whole sequence looks awful with the CGI. I don't think I'll call it anger inducing. I don't think it's that bad, but I will say it's a bit ridiculous for this franchise to go to this movie at all, to start out so weak. Next, we have Dennis from Final Destination 5. Dennis is a really throwaway death. Like, he's asking, like, all right, well, we believe in this thing. It's real. Then who's next? And a wrench just, like, flies out of this thing and, like, right in the head. I'm going to say participation trophy. You really just knocked him out and kept the story going. So, you made us believe that this has a pattern, but that's about it. Next is, I'm not going to call him by his name because I don't think anyone knows who I'm talking about if I call him by his name. This is the racist guy from Final Destination 4. He is putting a cross in a African-American guy's lawn after he blames that guy for his wife's death because he wouldn't let him back into the raceway to like try to save her or whatever. He gets pulled by his own truck and like in the guy's yard. It's a bit ridiculous. Next, we got Ashlyn and Ashley. So this is from Final Destination 3. They go tanning together. There's like condensation on a cup that's like making the thing overheat, and the door gets locked. They get stuck in there, and then the shelf falls and like makes their tanning bed stay closed while they're overheating, and then the glass breaks. And this is one of my favorite deaths of all time in these, so gotta go put it up in the highlight reel. This is some of Death's best work, if I do have to say so. Next we have Lewis from Final Destination 3. This is like one of those non-believer situations where they go talk to him and he's like mad and like yelling at them for even bringing him into this, and he's like working out and like the weight just falls and like smashes him in the head. I really am not one for head trauma. I'm gonna put this one in gnarly AF, because even though I don't like it, it is effective. Next, we have Roy. This is from Final Destination 5. Him and Nathan get in a fight like at this work site, and he falls and a crane hook is like in his neck. This one is also one of those like really quick ones, pretty much to add a rule to Death's pattern here. So I'm gonna put this one in participation trophy. Got a mixed bag on the 5th one. This next one is the Final Destination 2 premonition, and that is the log truck pileup. I feel like anyone who hasn't even seen these movies knows like what the log truck thing is. We don't drive behind these things. We avoid them at all costs. We see those when we're going around. It's not specifically logs usually, but it will be like pipes or like big blades, like the wind blades. We're all moving. I think this is the most effective, most iconic thing that just stays with us forever. So, Death's highlight reel, of course. Next, we have Nathan, and he is from Final Destination 5. He, at the end, the Flight 180 crashes, and he's like in a bar, and like some of the rubbish like comes and takes him out. I would say for plot sake of him realizing like Death's rule of he accidentally killed Roy, and so he gets his remaining years added to his life, and then you find out that Roy was gonna die any day because he had like a tumor or something. I think for that reason, like that it keeps the story going. Participation trophy. It confirms that piece of lore that gets brought up again. So next we have Julia from Final Destination Bloodlines. Julia gets knocked into a dumpster and the thing starts like crushing, and it crushes her face, and her cousin's like trying to pull her out, and she ends up with her arm. The CGI doesn't look great on this one, but I'm still calling it gnarly because that's nasty. Next, we have the roller coaster derailment premonition from Final Destination 3. This is, I wasn't too thrilled about the idea of roller coasters before watching this, but I will say after watching it, I'm even less enticed to go on one. Always been hesitant, but definitely even more hesitant since seeing this thing freaking derail. I'm gonna put this on the highlight reel. I think this thing is intense. It does look a little weird because of the CGI, but not too bad. I feel like the 3rd installment is where the CGI kind of starts, but the 4th one is just overkill in it. Next, we have Terry from Final Destination 1. I'm glad we're getting to her first because there is another one later that doesn't get this high regard because she is the first one. She's walking, she's yelling at her boyfriend for being obsessive over mad at Alex for like bringing them into this or whatever. And she just gets taken out by a bus. Like mid-sentence, just bus takes her out. So this one, because it's the first time that they accomplish this, I will absolutely put it in gnarly AF. This next one is the teacher. I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on her name. Miss Lumen, I think? That's not right. That's not it. Lawton. Mrs. Luton. I was close. Okay. So Miss Luton is one of the other big Rube Goldberg machines that we see. She's in her house and she spills some alcohol, and then a fire starts, and then she falls, pulls this rag, and there's a knife, and it just, yeah, it gets her. Alex is like trying to help her, but it just looks like he did it. I'm gonna put this one in Death's highlight reel just because it's one of those really big Rube Goldbergs and pushes the story in the first one a lot of like nobody trusts Alex going forward. They think he had something to do with it, and they think that he is killing these people off. Next, we have Frankie Cheeks from Final Destination 3. He in a drive-through, and our main characters jump out of their car and barely escape because they see like a semi with no driver, I think, heading towards them, and they get out, and then their car engine like goes to the back of his head. So that's nasty. But we're gonna put it in gnarly AF because after you think it's over, it like comes around again. Yeah, it's real nasty. Next, we have, okay, this is Andy the mechanic from Final Destination 4. The van almost pins him against a chain link fence, and then like some air tank comes, explodes, something like that, and pushes him through the chain link. If you get what I mean, like a cheese grater. I would say in any other movie, this would be a good kill, but it looks terrible. It looks so unrealistic and dumb that I'm putting it in a bit ridiculous. All right, so next we have the bridge collapse premonition of Final Destination 5 on like a bus or something, and the whole thing just starts coming down. This one's like a pretty long premonition of like who's saving, and like you see specific people die in specific ways, and that's pretty cool. Because this is a fifth one following the really bad stuff we got in the fourth one, that it's a good return to form of getting back to like the actual fears, playing off of those. So yeah, don't love that, gnarly AF. Next, we have, I had to look up her name. This is the first girl at the beginning of Final Destination 4, right after the premonition, like, occurs, actually, after the few people get out. There's a tire, and it just flies and knocks her out. This thing looks awful. You know, I'm gonna put it in... Sorry, it's a struggle between these bottom two. I'm gonna put it in a bit ridiculous. Her body even laying there just looks like a dummy. Like, it's rough. Next, we have Iris from Final Destination Bloodlines. Iris is our main character's grandma who stopped the Skyview from falling and collapsing, and she saved hundreds of people that night. And so death is coming for everyone and their families that survived that. She is next to last one in her premonition to die. So death is about to get her anyway. She finds out she has cancer, and she's trying to convince Stephanie that death is coming for their family. And she steps outside of her house knowing what's going to happen, and I think it's a fire extinguisher like pressurizes and shoots up, and then the weather vane like comes and like gets her like through the back of the head, and like 2 feet away from her granddaughter. I have to call this in the highlight reel because, hang on, sorry, I'm a little stuck here. Oh my god. Okay, so this next one is going to be Bobby from Final Destination Bloodlines. He gets killed right after Eric. They have a plan to... he has a really bad peanut allergy. They have a plan to kill him and then bring him back because that's one of the ways to cheat this and stop the cycle. That obviously doesn't work. He does eat a peanut butter cup, and the effects of that start kicking in, but then Eric dies and can't help him get out of it, and there's a vending machine spirally thing at play from something they tried to do earlier to get the peanut butter cups, and it is also attracted by the magnet and goes through his head. So I'm gonna put this one, it's like a 1-2 with the Eric Bobby thing, so I'm gonna put it right up here as well in Dev's highlight reel. Next, we have Kat from Final Destination 2. Kat, they like get in a car wreck, and the EMTs, firefighters, whatever, they're there, and they're trying to get her out. of the car, and there's like a pole sticking like out back here, and like the airbag goes off. I'm gonna put this one in gnarly AF. It had a pretty good lead up to it. It was intense. Next, we have Evan. This is another Rube Goldberg thing. His whole like apartment catches on fire, his hands stuck in the garbage disposal. You don't know how he's gonna die. And then he gets out of his apartment, but then a fire escape ladder comes and crushes him in the eye. We're gonna call this gnarly AF. I have a real problem with eye trauma, and this did not help. We're gonna put that up in there. So this next one is gonna be Flight 180. This is the first premonition that we ever see in this whole franchise. It kicks us off, and Alex Browning has a panic attack because he has a premonition that the plane is going to explode. Him freaking out causes half the people to get off the plane, and then the plane does explode. Because this kicks the whole thing off and sets us up for what this whole thing is going to be, and I'm going to have to put this in the highlight reel. All right, you might notice things look a little bit different now. The one I was using kept crashing for some reason, so I moved it this one, and I moved everything that I'd previously done over. So next we have Billy. They just saved Carter from getting hit by a train, and then like right after that, some debris, like some metal debris, flies off and decaffeinates Billy. So I'm gonna put that in gnarly AF. Next we have, what is this kid's freaking name? Brian. Okay, so Brian, at the end, they're talking about how this one guy saved him at the last minute. So they're like, oh wait, is he in it now? And then he goes over to check on the grill, and like it blows up and his arm falls on his mom's plate. If it wasn't for how funny of a note that ended on, it would be ridiculous, but it's so funny. I love when these movies end like on a funny note. So really F. All right, next we have Candace. Candace is a gymnast in Final Destination 5, and that goes really wrong. There's like a balance beam scene, and there's a screw on it, so you think it's gonna be that, and then she gets off of that, and then it's another girl lands on that and screams, and it freaks her out. She like lets go, I think, at the wrong spot on the bars, and she just like front of body, back up, yeah, real nasty. We're gonna put that up in Des highlight reel. That one was so suspenseful and really good payoff when it happened. Next we have the mom from Final Destination Bloodlines. I don't remember her name, but this is another one where she's trying to save her kids, and then something like a electric pole just like falls. I'm a bit tired of these, so I'm gonna call it participation trophy. She dies, keeps the ball rolling for the next ones. Next we have the death by caffeine Final Destination 4, like final, like whatever, just takes all the rest of them out with like a bus, again just crashing in through the whole building. Sorry, anger inducing. This thing looks bad, and it also just like shows like they're skeletons for some reason. Like it changes into a scene like that, and then the movie just ends. It's so bad. This movie is so bad. Okay, next we have Ian. Ian is in Final Destination 3. He starts losing his mind because his girlfriend just died. He's like after Wendy because he thinks that is gonna have something to do with her death. He's like, all right, let's get it over with. How am I gonna do it? And then a sign falls on him. I don't love these, but I'm gonna call this one a bit ridiculous just because it's kind of like a cartoony like sign fall on him. Next we have the 3 leftover leads from Final Destination 3, and that was Wendy, Julie, and Kevin. And Wendy has a premonition while they're on a subway that the whole thing is going to derail and they're going to die. And it happens. It all just happens. I'm going to put this one in, I think I'm just going to put this one in participation trophy because I don't love that they put a premonition in it before it happened. I just wish it just would have happened, or that she had a premonition, then we just like cut to black. Like we know what just what just went on. So yeah. And next we have the mall premonition from Final Destination 4. I'm gonna be mean because the deaths that we got in this with the escalator specifically was better than the coffee shop death. And for that reason, I'm putting it anger inducing because these characters could have had such more brutal, better deaths, and we were robbed. Next, we have George from Final Destination 4. He's just mid-sentence and gets taken out by an ambulance. A bit ridiculous. Like I said, they try to remake the Terry thing. It doesn't work. Stop trying to make it happen. It's not gonna happen. Next we have Howard from Final Destination Bloodlines. They're like at a barbecue and there's like this piece of glass that gets in their eyes, and then you're waiting to see what's gonna happen with that. There's a rake on the trampoline. And then it ends up he like steps on the glass and falls, and then a lawnmower comes and eats his head. I'm gonna call this one Death's highlight reel because that whole scene had me like on the edge of my seat wondering what it's gonna be that's gonna take this anybody actually out, because you don't even know who's next at this point. We don't know the pattern, how this is working, because it's like a family instead of just like people who survived. Next we have Nora. She's in Final Destination 2. She does not believe that this is actually happening, and then she's in an elevator and her head gets like stuck in the elevator while she's trying to get out. The elevator keeps going up, and I'm gonna put this one in participation trophy because it keeps everything going where like everyone around her now believes that this is actually happening. Next we have Tim. You think he's gonna die at the dentist. He does not die at the dentist. He's in Final Destination 2, by the way. And he doesn't, but he was warned about pigeons, and then he runs out and tries to shoot some pigeons and like distracts this guy like doing some construction stuff, and it makes this like glass thing just come like crush him, and the way that he falls is so nasty. And for that, I'm gonna put it in gnarly AF. Next we have Rory in the Final Destination 2. This happens right after Kat's death. Like that causes like something to blow up, and like this barbed wire like flies off of a fence and like that, just like that. And the effects in this are just kind of like funny. I think I'm gonna put this one in participation trophy. Gets him knocked right out of there. Next we have Erin. Erin is in Final Destination 3. She works in a hardware store, and there's like this whole thing of they think it's her boyfriend that's about to die, and they try to save him. It skips him, I think. And then like this nail gun goes off and it just keeps shooting her in the face. Gnarly AF. I can't say I want to go anywhere near nail guns. Next we have Samantha from Final Destination 4. This is the mom. Her name showed up later, but this is the mom in Final Destination 4. Has another scene where like she's in barbershop for a while, and you think something's gonna kill her in there. Nothing does, and then like there's a rock and a lawnmower like gets it and it shoots and gets her in the eye. I'm gonna call this one a bit ridiculous because right before she's like yelling at her kids and she's like, I got my eye on you, and then that happens and it's just a little rough, buddy. Next, who the hell? Oh, Final Destination 4. We have Hunt. He goes out for a swim and he gets stuck to the suction part at the bottom of the pool, the drain, sorry, and his guts come out of him, get sucked up through a hole down there. It looks really bad when it comes out, so I am going to put this in. We never look at pools the same. I feel like this is the only one that's going to go in gnarly AF because it's like a funny, it's funny death. I mean the only one from Final Destination 4 that's going to get up there. Oh, we already did all these. Wow. So this is my final tier list that we got going on. I'm sorry that it looks different than it did the first time. I'm doing my best here. So yeah, we got a pretty heavy top parts up here, and I really do love this franchise. It is one of my favorite horror franchises, and it's always a fun time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it, even though it put me through some crap. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one real soon. I'm gonna have so much fun editing this. So bye.